We can rebuild it. We have the technology. But I don't want to spend a lot of money.
I think we can safely say that this is one of the biggest years in Ninjago's history. 3 waves, 1 D2C, collectibles spanning across the whole year, and of course the 10th anniversary. Let's see which set stood apart from the rest. This set was really the only set of its kind for 2021, and this was an absolute banger. 7 minifigures, 4 exclusives, and the epic Spinnerooski. The build itself also was really solid, and it's filled with space for figures to go pretty much anywhere, and at $30 this was hands down the best value of the year. I really wouldn't mind seeing more sets like it in the future. The Keeper's Village certainly won't be as memorable as the Catamaran Sea Battle, but I still like this set quite a lot. I'm always a big fan of these $50 structure builds, and even though they don't do them that often, they're almost always great when they do, and this set was no exception. Each section of this build was movable, which is nice to see. The totem guys could detach from the top, and just generally speaking, this was a well-designed set. The minifigures here were also pretty solid, and Cole was exclusive, which is nice to see, but overall this was a pretty solid, well-rounded thing. The Jungle Dragon was probably the most unique dragon to come out this year. The teal and gold color scheme was actually really good. The arch in his back is a small detail that I really like, and the tongue sticking out was an odd but sensible choice. When I saw the pictures of this set, my first impression was that this set looked like a dog, and seeing its personality in the show, it's clear that that was by design. Also, the tiny catamaran is actually a pretty cool thing on the side. The Overlord Dragon was a set we had been waiting to get for years, and we finally got one. I know some people were disappointed that this set wasn't bigger, and while I do agree that I would have loved to see a $50 to $70 version of this set, I still thought the $30 version was pretty good. My favorite detail has got to be how they designed the bottom of the dragon to match the torso of the Overlord minifigure, which by the way was a new exclusive version for the set. It also was the only pure actual villain vehicle type set this year, and it's the only villain legacy set in general, which they really need to do more of. There's an argument that could be made that this is the best Ninjago mech to ever exist, and it is certainly the most well-rounded. It's the only big mech to ever have knee articulation, one of the few to have wrist articulation, and just technically speaking, this is just a really good looking thing. This set does almost everything right. It's got a great design, it's got cool minifigures, it's got a great price per piece ratio, but as I've said before, I think the lack of side builds really does hurt this set in terms of overall value compared to some of the other sets that came out this year, although this is a truly elite mech set. I don't care what any of you guys say, the Boulder Blaster is great. I know most people would put the Titan mech above this set, but like I said before, I think there is more value here because of the side build. Being able to actually have something to shoot at or battle against right out of the box makes this set inherently a little bit more fun, even if it's technically not as impressive of a design. Not taking anything away from the design of the set though, because it is great. Honestly, I feel like Cole always has some of the best vehicle sets, but there's so few of them because they just don't sell as well as the 50th J. Kyra Lloyd vehicle. The Fire Dragon was probably hands down the coolest looking set of the year, and it would have been my favorite dragon if it was just a little bit more stable. I've talked about it before, but this thing just cannot stand up, and for a dragon set, I think that's a major design flaw. If you cannot do the pose that is on the box, then there is a problem, and that is what you see here. Even still, I really do love this set. It's got great shaping and detailing, solid minifigures, and a lot of cool features. If the stability was just a little bit better, this would have been perfect.
We were on the verge of greatness. We were this close.
The Water Dragon is another set that we have been waiting for a very long time, and this set absolutely delivered. I think the $70 price point was the perfect spot for this set to be in because it gave us a pretty large-scale dragon without having to break into the upper echelon of more expensive $80 plus sets. The design here is long and sleek, and it has the dark blue and azure color scheme, which gives it a very elemental feel. The wing design is a little bit odd, and I don't really think the function is good enough to justify it, although I don't think it's bad by any means. The minifigures in this set were absolutely amazing, giving us both NRG, Nia, and Kalmar, and while I do like the inclusion of the Zane submarine, I think a villain vehicle would have been a lot better, especially since it would actually give you something to battle, because as it stands right here, it's a submarine, and a dragon versus 3 villain minifigures, which is just a little bit unbalanced. Still, out of every set that came out this year, this is the set I would absolutely recommend the most, especially for collectors, because I do not think we will ever get another water dragon again, and even if we do, it will not be at this scale. It'll probably be closer to the $30 scale, or it'd be a side build included in some other set. I loved this set when it first got revealed, and I love this set now. The Hydra Bounty is just amazing. It's the most unique of the bounty style builds we've gotten, and it's one of the best. This thing just does everything well. It's got a mech built in the front, it's got the ability to store the submarines, the engine pods flip out, the thing's just so cool. Even the little details about this set are great. The middle being trans blue was such a great design choice, and using the white as the primary color complements it so well. This set was originally planned to be red, and I'm so glad they went with white because that was absolutely the best decision. Kalmar also does get a little tiny chariot build, which, well, once again, I would have liked to see more. It is an acceptable side build here. When Ninjago City came out in 2017, I thought Ninjago had peaked. It was straight up one of the best LEGO sets to ever be released, and with it coinciding with the movie, I figured the chances of another direct-to-consumer set on this scale were pretty low, and I was fine with that. I accepted that. But when I heard that we were getting the Gardens, I was expecting something great, but still not something quite as good as the city was. So, now with this set in hand, is it as good as Ninjago City was? Now listen, don't tell anybody I said this, but it's actually better. Yes, this set right here is not only probably the greatest Ninjago set to ever exist, but it is one of the greatest LEGO sets to exist ever. The set barely even belongs on this list with the rest of the sets because this is in a completely different class. There's nothing more I can say about this set because you just look at it and it tells you everything you need to know. So 2021 was a pretty good year for Ninjago sets. I wonder what 2022 will bring. Oh, come on. What the f-